welcome back to KXAN Plus. I am your host, Esmeralda Zamora, and today I have two very special guests in the studio with me to do a Nick's First Warning Weather segment, and our two guests are obviously Nick Bannin and Tommy House. How are y'all doing today?
Hey, Esme.
Doing all right. A little warm.
A little warm, yeah. The sun
You
is
got
out.
your jacket on inside there,
I don't know
Tommy.
what I did. I stepped in here. I'm already sweating. So
That's smart.
I had to wipe a few times.
Yeah, normally this room is freezing. Why is it so hot right now?
Well, we can't answer that. We're not HVAC specialists, but
Next question. Yeah.
Next question. Well, my biggest question for both of you is, are triple-digit days over?
yeah, so we'll get to sort of the climatological outlook as far as that goes. We'll look at the latest triple digits we've ever seen in Austin, and then we'll also get a little more specific on this year. But Tommy, we have already passed the typical final triple-digit day of the year in Austin, August 30th, just a few days ago. But our forecast is already calling for more triple digits here this week.
You just take some dry air, Nick, right? Easily warming up, but cooling down. We have some 60s in our forecast for tomorrow morning. But a few more, like you said, triple digits, I think, before the weekend.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this time of year. Our days are getting shorter. The afternoons are getting shorter. Nights are getting longer at the same time, of course. So the odds start working against us as we're losing roughly 2 minutes of daylight every day for the heat to continue too long into September and October. But even just last year, we had triple digits as late as October. So we know we can happen. We also know that our triple digit count has not been too terrible for the year, despite a very early start.
Yeah, we've had several 99-degree days, but triple-digit-wise, we've had now 19 on 2025. Expected to maybe see a few more before the year wraps up, but in terms of our average, which is 29, we're going to be trying to chase that, probably on the lower than normal side.
Yeah, and you and I both know that at the beginning of summer, when we were making our initial triple-digit predictions, this was coming on the back of 2 triple-digit days in May. Yeah. We were all thinking that we were going to be in for way more triple-digit days than we ended up with. But as you've mentioned, not just now, but a lot over the summer, the number of 99s that we've had instead of 100-degree days has meant that we have been so close to getting way more triple-digit days than we ended up getting. And just a little bit extra heat, just a slightly drier ground would probably have got us there. But I know you've been looking at those 99s and sort of had been adding them up at one point.
Yeah, and, I think you posted this a few days ago talking about the meteorological summer, which ended. Technically, now we're in fall for our standards. How did that summer real quick turn out this summer? Was it warmer than normal?
Yeah, slightly warmer than normal, just by 0.2 degrees, which is kind of crazy because I think most people who've been in Central Texas at least a few years feel that this summer wasn't really too bad because we didn't have as many triple-digit days. We did not have sort of relentless heat. We didn't even get many heat advisories or extreme heat warnings either. And yet we still ended up with above average temperatures for the summer. I think that goes to show you that recent history shows that those were some of the more extreme levels of heat, but we were still warmer than normal this time around. We also had some pretty warm nights. So even if our afternoons were in the triple digits all that much, we still had some very warm nights, warm mornings. And of course, that helps to build the average temperature for the summer up, even if that heat isn't in the afternoon and it's more so in the overnight and morning, which is fairly typical for a more humid atmosphere that our nighttime lows would not get quite as cool.
Yeah, kind of traps in that warmth. We saw through July many cooler than normal highs because of the rain. Trade-off was, though, those overnight lows. Some nights still low 80s, right? You're stepping outside in the morning, it's muggy. It's warm. How does this so far triple-digit days compare to recent summers?
Yeah, so let's look back the last few years here. Last summer, we thought wasn't terrible either. We had just 32 triple-digit days, and we're going to end up, last year, I should say, 32 triple-digit days, and we'll likely end up in the 20 to 25 range, I would say, by the time we wrap up the hotter periods of this month. So last year, 32 triple-digit days. Of course, the year before, 80. It was the second highest total of triple-digit days in a year in Austin back in 2023. The year before that was crazy hot too, but amazingly outdone by 2023. But there in 2022, we had 68 triple-digit days. And then the year before that was even cooler than this summer was, as far as triple-digit goes anyway, just 12. So one decent summer. and then 2 very hot ones, and now we're sort of back to 2 somewhat decent ones again.
Decent, I don't want to bring it up, but I'm going to speak it. 2011, that was a big one.
That was the only one that outdid 2023. Was when we had 90 triple-digit days that year, and then you can see how that compares to 2023 and then 1925. So no other year has really come all that close to those top 2. In 2011, out on its own by a full 10 additional triple-digit days. So as we go back to where we ended up here, at least so far with 19, and we may end up with 20 or 21 by the end of this week, it still pales in comparison to some of the more recent triple-digit heat days that we've had here over the last few decades.
Yeah, and you explained it best, right? Obviously, from a climatological standpoint, it's the end of August, but we see this still often in September, still being one of the hotter months.
Yeah, we average some triple-digit days in September. August has the most with an average of 13. But September usually gets 3. So if we got 2 this week and maybe the one the following week or the week after, that would still be nothing all that unusual. So you can see how our average of 29 triple-digit days gets spread out through the year. 3 in June. We had none in June. We had 2 in May, though. And then July had 10, gets 10 on average, I should say, 13 in August, and 3 in September. So if you're coming to this video wondering, are we done with triple digits yet? In 2 different ways, we can tell you the answer is no. Our forecast for just this week alone says no. And also climatologically speaking, we usually get triple-digit days in September and, of course, sometimes in October.
Yeah, I mean, how late, right? I know last year was in October. That was record-breaking. But other years, too, we've seen relatively late in the month of September triple-digit days.
Yeah, so look at our last 5 years of the final triple-digit days of the year. And really amazingly, last year had an incredibly late triple-digit day there.
Yeah.
October 13th, that was actually the latest triple-digit day ever.
Yeah.
So what that ended up doing, if you remember, Tommy, was because we had such an early triple-digit day this year in May, and we had such a late one last year in October.
Yeah.
It meant that it was the shortest season without triple digits ever in Austin, going from the middle of October to around the middle of May without triple digits was such a short window to go without 100-degree heat. So we were sort of fighting it on the end of last season and early in this season.
Honestly, May, when we saw those 2 triple-digit days, I thought my 38 that I forecast for the year would be too low by like 20. Then July obviously had a little bit less of any triple digits, but we've seen more of a typical August, slightly warmer than normal summer, and this can carry that warmer than normal trend well into the fall.
Yeah, and sometimes we've gotten bonus triple digit days well into September. I remember a couple of summers ago where it took a little while to get triple digits going, and then we had a lot in September. It may have been a few summers ago. So we can get them in September, and as last year showed, we can get them in October. These are the latest years that have had triple digits go late into the year, I should say. And you could see last year had the last triple digit day. But then back in the, say, 1923 and 1938, we also had some triple digit days continue into early October. But it really hasn't happened that much that we've had triple digits in October. It's really been September, sometime in September, that we had previously seen a lot of our final triple-digit days of the year. So for them to carry into October is rare. So it's not something we're going into expecting. We think more likely our final triple-digit day will probably come here this month in September.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you October is possible.
3 big things, right? Obviously, 1, the sun angle. 2, we lose that continuation of daylight, and from a synoptic standpoint, saying that correctly, we start to see a few more big fall cold fronts begin to work through, right?
Yeah, and October is also our second wettest month of the year. So with more rounds of rain, storms, you mentioned those October cold fronts, more clouds. There's a lot going against us getting that sort of heat in October. And for it to be our second wettest month of the year, coming after May and coming before June, which can usually be a pretty wet, at least beginning to the month, it just goes to show that we have a secondary window of stormy weather here. It's not just a spring thing, but another round that comes in the fall before we dry out going into the winter. So that does work against us for getting triple-digit heat in the month of October, because we usually get more storms and more clouds around.
Yeah, absolutely right. Several different big factors here as we're approaching some of the cooler holiday seasons. Let's, on this same note, talk about the triple-digit averages through the span of years, decades.
Yeah, so the way meteorologically that we look back at averages, as you know, Tommy, is 30-year increments.
Right.
And these 30-year increments get updated every 10 years to update the averages, because as you and I know, our climate is changing, so we have to change the averages with it. So that 30-year chunk slides over another 10 years once we get to the end of a decade. So most recently, our recent period of 30-year averages is 1991 to 2020. And during that 30-year period, we now average 29 triple-digit days. So until we get to 2030 or 2031, whenever they recalculate the triple-digit 30-year average, as well as all the other averages, our average number of triple-digit days will be 29. But you can see as we work our way back in those 30-year increments, sliding them backwards by 10 years at a time, you can see how the average number of triple-digit days in Austin has changed over time. It used to be that back in the 30-year window of 1961 to 1990 there, we only averaged 10 triple-digit days a year, which would have meant that this year, when we'll probably end up with between 20 and 25, that we would have said, oh, it's an above-average year. But our average number of triple-digit days has been growing. 12 there from 1971 to the year 2000. Mm-hmm. Then an average of 18 triple-digit days a year between 1981 to 2010. And now with the most recent set of 30-year averages, 1991 to 2020, now up to 29 triple-digit days a year. Now, of course, some of that is the growth of Austin and the expansion of concrete and the urban heat island effect. But that is a small part of the reason for this heat. Our warming climate continues to be the main dominating factor, because we see that type of warming happening in places that don't have the growth of Austin, like in the oceans, which are also warming. So those skeptics that'll point toward, yeah, but Austin's growing. Yeah, sure, that's a little part of our warming, but it is not the main part of our warming. And you can see that the numbers there, especially going from 18 being average to 29 being the new average, that was a big jump over just that 10-year slide in the 30-year average there.
You also mentioned some of the warmer ocean temperatures. That could be a separate segment on the tropics, as our peak hurricane season is coming up on the 10th. Yeah, well said, especially with those decades as we're continuing to see more of a warming climate. Closer to home, real quick, some of these temperatures will play through triple digits, right, are back in the forecast we pointed out for several days with that drier air. How about 102?
Yeah, we could get there here tomorrow. So I know we're in meteorological fall now, and our cool night that you and I have been looking forward to here tonight, widespread 60s by tomorrow morning.
Be nice.
It may give you a little false sense of security here tomorrow. Tommy, hopefully you're not dressed in a sweater for the day tomorrow. Because
I got a few on tap.
You got them ready to go?
Got them ready to go.
You got that
cashmere.
Dunk's hot coffee ready to go for tomorrow?
Dunk's, Starbucks, we'll see. I'm not really a hot coffee drinker, but there's exceptions to the game.
Well, tomorrow will be like a hot coffee early morning and then an iced coffee late morning. That's because we'll be in the 90s by then. And then you can see the triple digits here tomorrow. Friday will possibly be dependent on the cloud cover. We're going to get some clouds coming in from a tropical system weakening as it crosses into Mexico and throwing some clouds our way at first, and then eventually some rain chances. But what it may or may not do, depending on how thick the clouds are, is keep us under that 100-degree mark or over. But here's the near-term truth to the fact that we don't think we're done with triple digits yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just takes, again, a front to move through that drier air in play. It takes minimal cloud cover, have these periods where the high pressure can dominate. We'll see a few triple digits where the clouds keeping us in the 80s. Even last weekend was pretty tricky because we had some clouds. Those who got the rain, it was highs in the 80s. Those who didn't, we're talking mid to upper 90s. So it's going to be kind of a tricky forecast once we hit this weekend.
Yeah, sometimes those temperature differences, even within just our 15-county area, can be incredible. You could almost give a 20-degree high temperature forecast range and still
Don't tempt
be
me,
right.
Nick, I might.
The forecast tomorrow between 85 and 105. So take that and run with it.
Yeah.
I did want to just update our viewers who have come here before to look at the September forecast. We talked about this a week or two ago here on Nick's first warning. They updated it, and now it's looking near normal from a temperature perspective for September, but then warmer than normal off to the northwest of us. So near normal would indicate that at least some triple digits are possible in the month of September, because we usually get 3. So if you consider that near normal, then we can end up there near normal. And then the extended 3-month temperature outlook, which we also talked about earlier, is the fall outlook, and this is pointing to warmer than normal. So it's not going to hint necessarily at triple digits continuing into October, although it's possible. But certainly, we're probably going to add some more of those 99s to our list. We think perhaps, Tommy, which puts us oh so close, of course, to that 100-degree number.
And if you go back actually to the September outlook, I think one of the big reasons why we're seeing near normal is some of the computer models ensembles are looking several weeks out. Obviously not the most accurate, but they're suggesting several cold fronts to sweep through the Midwest down toward the deep south. Probably not reaching the Austin area itself, but sometimes that can also be another lifting mechanism for some rain.
Yeah, and of course, the first week of September starting warmer than normal like we are now does not necessarily mean that that's going to continue through the whole month. There's other factors that go into that. I think often the Climate Prediction Center, when they update these outlooks, they do put a little more weight on how the beginning of the month is going to go because the confidence is higher on that.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're not going warmer than normal for September, despite the fact that this first week of September is going warmer than normal, does indicate that there's probably going to be some good opportunities for cooling in the following week and the week after that. In fact, before I was putting together our forecast here this afternoon, there's some signs of highs possibly only in the 80s for some time next week, as I'm sure you're going to be talking about coming up at 4. Now, Tommy, you're going to be hosting KXAN News at 4, doing the weather for that. What are you looking at here in the days ahead?
Yeah, so cooler morning tomorrow. We'll see a little bit more heat and warmth during the afternoon hours, triple digits, of course, like we discussed. The big question is will some of that moisture squeeze out showers on just Sunday, maybe Saturday? We don't think it's going to impact that Texas football game. Hopefully they can shake off that loss to Ohio State. But early next week, multiple rounds of rain could be possible with the front sliding through, plenty of moisture from tropical storm Hurricane Now that's out in the Eastern Pacific. So a few different wild cards at play, but overall cooling trend into next week.
Yeah, and there's potentially some more activity way out in the Eastern Pacific.
That's right.
But yet our area of interest, at least in the near term, the Eastern Atlantic, but our area of interest is on the Eastern Pacific now with Lorena throwing some moisture our way. And that is often the case as we get into September and especially October, is that we can get some pretty hefty rainfall events coming from decayed Pacific storms. So they don't always have to come through the Gulf for us to get some heavier rain. So that's going to be something that we'll keep following, and I know you will on KXAN starting at 4, and I will on KXAN starting at 5. But in the meantime, if you want to read more about the triple digits, as well as our thoughts on when they may or may not end, plus a recap of some of the graphics that we put together here for our discussion today. Just go to KXAN.com, then click on the Weather and Traffic tab there on the top of the screen. And there's a weather blog drop down, and that could give you the direction you need to get to our triple digit blog. And you'll be able to watch this video once we're done there as well, Tom.
I will say this. I'll say a number. You don't have to. I'll say a number. We'll do a number.
All right.
We have a little bit of extra time here. We can talk.
So we're at 19 triple-digit days now.
Okay. So we have 19. I think we're going to get 5 more triple-digit days.
So you're going with a total of 24.
A little bit, we average 3 per September. We'll get 2 or 3 this week. Get some rain showers, and then we'll get maybe 2 or 3 to wrap up the month.
See, now if I guess 23 or 25, I look like one of those people that guesses just one different, and I hate that. All right, so we're at 19 now. I think we get to 20 or 21, but I'm going to guess 23.
23,
So 23 triple-digit days for the end of the year. I know we had a few bonus ones last year that put us into the low 30s for totals, but I think, 23 or 24 then.
Today's kind of sneaky because I think our northern counties with the northerly breeze will only hit like 95, but then like San Marcos might hit 100. So when I was making the forecast for the midday shows today, it was tough because we were at 98 through the morning. Curry had 98. I bumped us up to 99. Now it's 96. It's 3 o'clock. I mean, you never know with a little sneaky. But because of the northerly breeze, I think we'll fall just shy of it. But maybe even today. But I think, you know.
That's true. Well, that would help nudge you toward that 24 instead of my 23. But we will see.
Time will tell.
Our original guesses, though, for how many triple-digit days we thought we would have for the year.
We won't show that.
We made that guess back in May, of course. That's on KXAN.com. If you want to make fun of your local meteorologist there, feel free. Join us at 4 and at 5, always here on KXAN.com and KXAN Plus, which is our connected TV app for your smart TV. Esme, did we miss anything?
Yeah, I want to test you. Where can our viewers download that KXAN Plus app?
All right, I'll have Tommy go with one device, and then I'll go, and then we'll see.
Oh, there's so many. We'll start Roku, easy.
Okay, Apple TV.
Samsung.
Fire Stick.
Did I already say Amazon? Did I say Amazon?
Amazon is Fire
Amazon.
Stick.
Oh, it is Fire Stick. Duh. Okay. Google Play?
Nope.
Not yet.
You're
Maybe.
missing one.
Missing one.
Roku.
No,
That was
you
the
already
first
said
one.
it.
Oh.
This is embarrassing.
This one is connected to what you both have in your hands right now.
Oh, is it iOS?
No.
I said the Apple TV already.
Oh, you said Apple TV?
Yeah.
Okay, then y'all said it. You
We
win.
got them all. Okay,
Good
cool.
job.
All right.
Wait, let me see
All
if
right.
I can do claps.
Do you have an applause button on there?
I do.
We need a soundboard back there, too.
I have one, but technical difficulties. Next stream,
Okay,
I'll be able to
the
applause
audience decided not
and
to
cricket for
Yeah.
both of you.
Okay.
Cool. Well,
Next
thanks so
time.
much for joining us.
This was a blast. Thank
yeah.
you so much, y'all.
Thank you both for coming. Remember, you can download that app on any CTV streaming app that you all have, and you can catch Nick and Tommy next week. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bye.